श्रीगुरुभ्यो नमः। हरिः ओं। सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्परां। श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानाम् आलयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादशङ्करं लोकशङ्करं। सदात्मध्याननिरतं विषयेभ्यः पराङ्मुखं नौमि शास्त्रेषु निष्णातं चन्द्रशेखरभारतीम्। ॐ। Verse 18 of the Viveka Chudamani. Sadhananyatra chatvari khatitani manishivihi yeshu satsveva sannistha yadavavena siddhyati. So this verse, we had looked at the general introduction to it, and we had started looking at the commentary to this by Jagadguru Srimad Chandrasekhara Bharati Mahaswamigal. Essentially, in this verse, Adi Shankara Bhagavad-pada is saying that the great sages, the Manishis of the past, the wise men, have said that there are 4 sadhanas or qualifications that are necessary for the commencement of the study of Vedanta Vichara. And in the absence of these 4-fold qualifications, the Atma Vichara that is conducted will not be fruitful. And we in the commentary, Jagadguru Srimad Chandrasekhara Bharati Mahaswamigal had essentially established the by means of the Anvaya Vyatireka logic. That is, Anvaya means co-presence, Vyatireka means co-absence. If there are 2 factors, the pot and the clay, wherever the pot is present, the clay is present. And where the clay is absent, the pot is absent also. Essentially, this means that the necessary presence of the clay is required for the effect to come into being, and when the cause is absent, the effect is also absent. Therefore, it follows that the clay is the cause of the effect. Similarly, Acharya is extending this to say, if the sadhana chatushtaya sampatti is present, and only then can Atma Jnana be present, and when sadhana chatushtaya sampatti is absent, Atma Jnana also is absent. Therefore, what this verse is saying is the Anvaya Vyatireka logic for why sadhana chatushtaya sampatti is something that we place so much importance to in the enquiry into the Atma through the scriptures. We were looking at the meaning of the word Manishivihi, and there, if you look at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, sixth line on page 14, Manishibihi katitani iti tatra manishitvam cha shrutitatparya jnanavatvam. So by Manishibihi, what we mean is, in the verse, what we mean is those people, wise people who know what is the true import of the scripture and who have themselves realized Brahman. And he explains why this Shruti-Tatparya Jnanam, or knowledge of the true intent of scripture, is very important. He says, Shrutyavalambanā bhave etadrishadhikari visheshananam durjnanatvad. Without taking recourse to the Shruti, that the adhikari requires these kinds of qualifications, it is very difficult to know that. Because what is the source of this, the sadhana chatushtaya sampatti being a necessary qualification? It is not something that the Advaita Acharyas have postulated independently, etc. It's come from the Shruti itself. The Shruti is the source for this. So, for example, in the Kathopanishad, the sadhana chatushtaya sampatti is mentioned, Viveka, Vairagya, and Mumukshatvam is mentioned. In the Brihadaranyaka Upanishad, the Shamadhi Shatka sampatti is mentioned. In the Shariraka Brahmana, which is the 4.4, fourth Brahmana or the 4th Adhyaya, in the 23rd mantra, there is a very detailed description of the Shamadhi Shatka sampatti. And we actually, in the Kanva Shakha, which is commented upon by Jagadguru Adi Shankaracharya, 5 of the Shamadhi Shatkam is mentioned. And in the Madhyandana Shakha of the Brihadaranyaka Upanishad, which is commented upon by Jagadguru Srimad Vidyaranyacharya, the 6th qualification of the Shamadhi Shatkam is mentioned. So he says, Here, Jagadguru Srimad Chandrasekhara Bharati Mahaswamigal, he says that without resorting to the Shruti, we will not know what the qualifications are. And he says, who are these Manishis? Who are these wise people? He says, Tadrishashcha Manishinaha Badarayana Pravritayah. People like Badarayana Acharya are the individuals who have been referred to by Jagadguru Adi Shankaracharya in this verse. And in the commentary, Jagadguru Srimad Chandrasekhara Bharati Mahaswamigal says, Te kila athato brahma jigyasa iti sutra ghataka atashabdena sadhana chatushtaya sampatyanantaryam sutrantaya brahma jigyasa adhikaranam evam vidham sutrayamasuhu iti शारीरक मीमांसादि अधिकरण तृतीय वर्णक भाष्यात अर्थो अवगम्यते. So he says Adi Shankaracharya in the Bhashya or the commentary to the Brahma Sutra, and the Brahma Sutra was written by Badarayana Acharya, the Bhashya was written by Adi Shankaracharya. So in the Brahma Jigyasa Adhikaranam, so the Brahma Sutra has been divided into various adhikaranams or chapters depending on the topic that is being covered in the sutras. The very first topic is called Brahma Jigyasa Adhikaranam, or the chapter dealing with the enquiry into Brahman, or the commencement of that enquiry into Brahman. So that is the topic under discussion. And this is the very first sutra, Athato Brahma Jigyasa. And here, in the discussion, the third discussion, Tritiya Varnakam, that occurs in the Bhashya, essentially what Adi Shankaracharya says in his Bhashya is that the word Atha in the Brahma Sutra, Athato Brahma Jigyasa, Atha, the first word Atha. So what does Atha mean? Atha means thereafter, now. So whenever the question or the statement thereafter comes, the question that follows it is whereafter, after what? And in discussing what the significance of Atha, the word Atha is, Adi Shankaracharya says the intent of Badarayana Acharya is to say who is the adhikari or the qualified student who can commence a study of Vedanta. And that Atha therefore refers to the student having qualified for the study of Vedanta. Then the natural question comes, what are those qualifications? And here, Adi Shankaracharya clarifies by qualifications what we are referring to is the adhikari having the sadhana chatushtaya sampatti. And it's only after he has been endowed with the sadhana chatushtaya sampatti that the student becomes qualified to commence Vedanta Vichara. So he says, Atra Sutra Ghataka Atha Shabdena, by the word Atha that occurs in the Sutra, Sadhana Chatushtaya Sampatyanantaryam, that it is only after the earning of the Sadhana Chatushtaya Sampatti, Anantarya means after that Sadhana Chatushtaya Sampatti has been earned, Sutrayantaha Brahma Jigyasādikaranam evam vidham sutrayamasuhu. So, Acharya Shankaracharya is saying that Bhagavan Badarayana Acharya, the Sutrakara, has composed the sutra as Athato Brahma Jigyasa, keeping in mind the significance of earning or qualifying for Atma Vichara by earning the Sadhana Chatushtaya Sampatti. Now he explains how is the knowledge of the Shruti contributing to the awareness of what are the Sadhana Chatushtaya Sampatti. So he says, Etadrisha Visheshana Lambaka Shrutagastu Yat Kritakam Tad Anityam Iti Nyayavati Tad Jateha Karmachito Lokaha Kshiyate Evameva Amutra Punyachito Lokaha Kshiyate Yovai Bhuma Tad Amritam Ato Anyadartam न जायते म्रियते वा विपश्चिते इत्यादि श्रुतिः आत्मनः नित्यत्वम् अनात्मनः अनित्यत्वं च बोधयति इति विवेकलम्भिका. So the shrutis that support the sadhana chatushtaya sampatti is being outlined by Acharya. He says, Yat kritakam tad anityam iti nyayavati. So there are Shrutis which prove the rule that whatever is created is ultimately anitya or non-eternal. It is ephemeral. Whatever has a birth will ultimately come to an end also. So that is the general rule. Now there are various Shrutis that establish that Atma is not subject to birth and therefore not subject to death as well, and therefore it is the Atma which is Nitya, and Anatma, because it is subject to birth, is also subject to death. So tad yatha iha karmachito lokah kshiyate evameva amutra punyachito lokah kshiyate. So this is a quotation that occurs from the Chandogya Upanishad 8th Adhyaya in the first Khanda, 8.1.6. So here the teacher is telling the student, just like in this world, Iha means in this world, all the efforts that one undertakes, they will bear some results. But are those results finite? No, they are not. They will come to an end at some point in time. So just like it has been observed that the result of effort in this world is a finite result, similarly in the Swargaloka, in other worlds, the punya that one has accrued, which leads us to Swargaloka, gives us Swargaloka phalam, that punya also is finite and therefore its result is also finite. Therefore, just because one has gone to Swargaloka, one should not think that it is an eternal moksha. That is also finite. Kshine punye martyalokam vishanti. This is what Bhagavan Krishna also says in the Bhagavad Gita. Once those punyas or the good results that have accrued from karma, when that punya has been exhausted, then the person will automatically return back into lower worlds like the Manushaloka, etc. So that Shruti is telling that Anatma is finite. Whatever has been achieved through effort will only give a finite result, it will not give us an infinite result. So what will give an infinite result if that question is asked? Jagadguru is quoting another verse, again from the Chandogya Upanishad itself. Let us read that. Essentially that says, Yo vai bhuma tadamritam ato anyadartam. So here this is from the Narada Sanat Kumara Samvada, the conversation between Narada and Sanat Kumara, which occurs in the 7th Adhyaya of the Chandogya Upanishad in the 24th Khanda, 7.24.1. In that mantra, it's Yo vai bhuma tad amritam. That which is bhuma, and the word bhuma here refers to Brahman or Atma. It says Atma is the one which is infinite, that is immortal. Tad amritam means immortal, that is without any birth or death. It is ever present. It is nitya. And then in the Brihadaranyaka Upanishad, there is the rest of the quote, which is Ato Anyadartham. Everything apart from Atma is Artham, it is finite, it is ephemeral, it is subject to death, decay, destruction, it is perishable. Therefore, Anatma is finite, Atma is infinite. So there are these various Shrutis that say this. The Ato Anyadartham Shruti in the Brihadaranyakam occurs in the Ushasta Brahmanam of the Brihadaranyaka Upanishad, the 4th Brahmana of the 3rd Adhyaya. And in the second mantra are the words Eshata Atma Sarvantaraha Ato Anyadartham. And then later in the Kahola Brahmanam of the Brihadaranyaka Upanishad, there is the phrase again Ato Anyadartham that repeats. It repeats in mantra number 1 of the Kahola Brahmanam 351. And finally, in the Antaryami Brahmanam of the Brihadaranyaka Upanishad, mantra number 23, that is 3723, Ato Anyadartham repeats as well. So essentially in all these three places, what the Upanishad is saying is that only the Atma is real and everything else that is different from the Atma, that is all the Anatma, is finite, ephemeral. And that is what Jagadguru Srimad Chandrasekhara Bharati Mahaswamigal is referencing. What he is saying is that the Upanishad reveals that the Atma is real and everything else is ephemeral, and therefore, through that, it is indicating the necessity of Viveka, that is, the necessity of being able to distinguish between what is real and what is unreal, because by doing that, one will be able to ultimately recognize the Atma. He gives a few more examples, this time from the Kathopanishad. In 1 to 18 is the famous verse, Na jagate mriyate va vipaschite. So vipaschit, the all-pervading consciousness, the witness of all, the seer, does not come into being, is not born, nor does it perish. So that it has no birth or death. And he says, Ityadi Shrutihi Atmanaha Nityatvam Anatmanaha Anityatvam cha Bodhayati iti Vivekalambhika. So all these Shrutis support the necessity for Viveka, or the discrimination between the what is real and what is unreal, because what they do is they distinguish the nature of the self from the nature of the non-self, the nature of Atma from Anatma, and they say Atma is Nitya, eternal, and Anatma is Anitya, or non-eternal, or ephemeral. And therefore, they all support Viveka. Next, he talks about the necessity for Vairagya. He says, Parikshalokan karmachitan brahmano nirvedamayat nasti akritakritena navare patyuh kamaya iti arabhya atmanastu kamaya sarvam priya bhavati iti antashtrutihi anatmamatre vairagya pratipadika. And therefore, the Shrutis that talk about Vairagyam are elucidated next, and they are in the Mundakopanishad, Parikshalokan karmachitan brahmanaha nirvedamayat nasti akritah kritena. The one who is the seeker of Brahman. So the true Brahmana is being defined here as the one who desires Brahman, who is engaged in Atma Vichara. How does he commence that Atma Vichara? He does that by examining the lifestyle and the life that he has led so far. He examines his world, he examines his choices, and he understands that to try for any of the other three Purusharthas like Dharma, Artha, and Kama ultimately will not give him everlasting happiness. That anything that is attained by karma will only be finite, and one cannot attain the infinite using the finite. Nasti akritah kritena. That which is beyond actions cannot be attained by actions. And so that Shruti is talking about the necessity of renouncing all anatma, because that anatma is going to be an obstacle as one tries to seek and recognize the atma. And also in the Maitri Brahmanam of the Brihadaranyaka Upanishad, Navare Patyuh Kamaya. So there is a long section of mantras that Yagyavalkya tells his wife Maitreyi. He says, "Oh Maitreyi, all the love that we have in this world is a conditional love. Any love for Anatma is a conditional love. Nobody loves the Anatma for the Anatma's sake. So long as the Anatma is giving us happiness, we like it. And once it stops giving us happiness, it starts giving us problems, we start disliking it. So it is not the Anatma that we like, but the Atma, we like it because it brings us joy. Anything that brings us joy is what we like. And why is that? Because the object us to whom joy needs to be brought is that which is the most dear to us. So for example, if you look at anything, why do we protect our house? Why do we protect our money? Because that is something which is going to give us security, it's going to give us peace of mind. So we seek to protect it. That which is valuable to oneself, one seeks to protect. And therefore, when one is trying to earn joy for oneself, it follows that the entity that we think of as I, that entity is something which is the dearest to us. And therefore, while we may love Anatma, that love is only a conditional love. But what we love unconditionally is ourselves. It is not a question of selfishness, it is simple fact. That is the nature of everybody's actions. Everyone acts in their own self interest because the self is the most dearest one. Nothing will remove the love for oneself. So somebody may ask, what about people that commit suicide? Aren't they killing oneself? To which we will say, the reason why one is prompted to commit suicide is because continuation of existence or continuing to live is causing that individual pain, and therefore to avoid pain for oneself they are killing their body, thinking that if that body dies that pain will stop. So even there, even a suicide is being motivated by self love, and therefore it follows that the self is the object of unconditional love, and everything which is non self, anatma, is the object of conditional love at best. And that is what Yagyavalkya tells his wife Maitreyi, and Acharya is referring to that. And it starts off with Navare Patyuh Kamaya Patih Priyo Bhavati. So the husband is not loved not for the husband's sake. The husband is loved for the sake of oneself. He starts saying, and then he goes on to everything. Then he says, Navare Jayaya, etc. He talks about the wife is not liked for the wife's sake, etc., etc. And he ends off by saying, Atmanastu Kamaya Sarvam Priyam Bhavati. People do not, anything in this world that is not Atma, every Anatma is loved not for the Anatma's sake, but it's loved for the Atma's sake. It is loved so because it brings joy to oneself. That is what is being said here. And these Shrutis, therefore, are referring to Vairagyam. Because the first Shruti, the Mundaka Shruti, Parikshalokan Karmachitan, establishes that the joy that Anatma brings is finite. And the second Shruti, Navare Patyuh Kamaya Patih Priyo Bhavati, says the Anatma is not something which is capable of giving unconditional joy. What is capable of giving unconditional joy is the self, the Atma. And therefore, show Vairagyam, discard the Anatma and move towards the Atma is what the Shruti is saying, and therefore this Shruti is supporting the concept of Vairagyam. And then later he is referring to the Brihadaranyaka mantra that we talked about earlier, occurring in the Shariraka Brahmanam 4.4.23. Shanto Danto Uparati Stitikshuhu Samahita Shraddhavitto Bhutva Atmanyeva Atmanam Pashyet Iti Shrutihi Shamadhishatkam Bodhayati. So here Acharya is combining the reading from the Kanva Shakha and the Madhyanandana Shakha of the Brihadaranyaka Upanishad. The Kanva Shakha only talks about 5. It does not talk about Shraddha, and the Madhyantana Shaka does not talk about Samadhanam, it only talks of Shraddha. So, therefore, by combining these two, you get all 6. So, essentially, Shantaha refers to that sannyasi who is endowed with Shama, or the control of the senses. Dantaha refers to the individual who is endowed with Dhamma, or Shantaha refers to control of the mind. Dantaha refers to the control of the senses. Uparatihi refers to sannyasa, those who have renounced the world and have taken up sannyasa ashrama. Then titikshuhu refers to titiksha, the individual who has the dvandva sahishnuta, or the ability to withstand the opposing effects of various things. So, for example, happiness, sadness, heat, cold, etc. The opposing forces one is able to withstand and therefore not get caught up too much in the sway of things. Samahitaha refers to samadhanam or mental equanimity, and Shraddha refers to the faith in the words of the scripture and the Acharya. And therefore, this verse is saying, being all these things, bhutva atmanyeva atmanam pashyet. So, being endowed with these six virtues, one must realize oneself through the mind. So, atmani eva atmanam pashyet. So, atmani, the first atmani refers to in the mind. The atma word refers to, means the mind. Atmanam, the second atma, refers to the self. So one must recognize the Atma within the intellect, being endowed with all these sixfold virtues or disciplines. Ityadi Shrutihi Shamadhi Shatkam Bodhayati. So such a Shruti teaches Shamadhi Shatka Sampatti. And then Nasa Punaravartate iti Shrutihi Mokshasya Nityatvam Vadanti Tatra Ichha Madadhati. Then Acharya is quoting the Chandogya Upanishad again, the 8th Adhyaya, the 15th Khanda, the end of the Upanishad, it ends with Nacha Punaravartate, Nacha Punaravartate. That is, the one who is a Brahmagyani, he does not return back into this world. After his Videha Mukti, there is no return for him into samsara again. He has eternally become free from samsara. There is no scope for his return. And therefore, by talking about the eternality of that moksha, the Shruti desires to create an interest, a longing, a desire for that moksha, a permanent cessation of samsara. And thus, that is what is known as mumukshutva. So Acharya has demonstrated how various aspects, various parts of the Shruti show the fourfold qualifications that are necessary for moksha, being viveka, vairagya, shamadhi shatkam, and mumukshutvam. With that, we will pause today's session and we will take up the rest of the commentary in the next session. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaga Purnameva Vashishyate Om Shanti Shanti Shanti